About a couple weeks ago, I made this video about how it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're a black man, you know, if you're a black teenager, if you're a black boy, if you're a black baby, that it doesn't matter how smart you are in society, the workforce, the workplace, and especially school. People in your environment will still see you as a little boy because nobody sees a black man as a grown ass adult male. Not white women, not black women, not the white man, not the Asian man or woman, not the European man or woman. It doesn't matter what race. Every race sees you as a little boy, a little black boy. Mentally, they put us in a category of unintelligent and illiterate, you know. And I say just the stereotype in itself doesn't allow us to become smart. Even with my channel, there are specific videos that I've made. I notice when I talk about broad terms, people are not really tuned in to what I thought. And this doesn't surprise me at all because a lot of my videos aren't the stereotypical format of how most YouTubers make their content. I may talk about things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you, if you're another person outside of a race, can relate to. This is a channel solely based off of the experience of me and any black boy, teenager, adolescent, fully grown black man can understand. And I just want to make that iteration clear because there's a lot of topics on my channel that some people just can't relate to based off of race relations. But I still appreciate those who tune in that want to hear what I have to say due to my own perspective. But the stereotype alone does not make us, it doesn't make us more than what we are. You know, American history will tell you that we came from slaves, you know, black people are dumb, all this shit. We don't know how to read and write. They never taught us how to read and write, you know. And what I would just recommend for people is you have to look at the system how it is like this, you know. It's all colonization. The colonizer does not want you to learn about his history or actually the real history. And he doesn't want you to, you know, it all goes down to the whole reading and writing thing. If you know how to read and write correctly, you know, the school system will make you work 10 times as hard to try to make you feel dumb, right? They may set up a bunch of tests that have nothing to do with the subject. They may have to take notes on how you are in the system. They may tell you everything is towards your grade, but if you really go into it with the subject and overall the like cumulative grade, you know, and how teachers grade assignments, you'll then start to come upon a realization of they're setting me up so much to the point where it's not even about, you know, becoming smarter. It's it's coming to a point of too many distractions, you know. And you know, I'd say Europeans, colonizers, slave owners, descendants of slave owners, and you know, just white people in general, just making a synopsis of how they fucked up the school system. They're not really that intelligent. And I may sound like, you know, I'm being racist towards white people, but you have to really analyze how they want every other race to learn. You know, in my many years of school, they've always wanted me to take a reading and writing class. Now, just from you listening to this video for about 7 minutes and 37 seconds, approximately, you could already tell I speak pretty good English. But it doesn't matter if I'm good at English, speaking it. What matters is if I know how to structure sentences and words properly within a paragraph. You know, how do I read? What is the subject? What is the underlying meaning? And all this to me is syntax. If you understand meanings and definitions of words and how sentences work, you know, you have an underlying uh, understanding of how the school system wants kids to read, you know. But when you all boil it down to a T, even school itself, if you go to school, you're not actually becoming smart because you're learning the exact way everybody else is being taught by the same motherfuckers. And even my degree, for example, you know, I told you guys I'm still in community college. It's like I just started up again this year and taking classes, and these classes haven't been all that. You know, just the way my teachers have been teaching me, I can't understand it. This is due to the fact that I've always been taught by the same types of people. You want to know who these people are? You already know, man. If you're black, you already know. But I'm going to say it for the people in the back who can't hear a damn thing. But ever since I was in kindergarten, because I didn't go to preschool, the motherfucker has always taught me that actually the person who has always taught me how to correct myself has always been the middle-aged Caucasian woman, a middle-aged white woman. Ever since I was in kindergarten, has always taught me, has always been the teacher. The only time I've had a male teacher was early elementary and throughout my high school years. 97% of the time, my teacher was always a white woman. And, you know, I don't give a shit personally if anybody gets offended because this is my overall experience. So, you can't take this shit away from me. And you can't say also that I haven't made this observation. The Caucasian middle aged white woman who was always the teacher in school should not be teaching. At least not be teaching for 10 fucking years. From kindergarten to eighth grade. There is no way that from kindergarten to damn near high school, every teacher is a Caucasian woman. That is fucked up, if you ask me, because I'm being taught from a feminine, also not from my own race, a feminine perspective. Because every teacher I've had who's been a middle-aged white woman, they grade off of feeling. They don't grade off of how smart the kid is, how much the kid knows. It's always about feeling. If they like you, they'll pass you. If they don't like you, they'll fail you. Don't get me wrong, a lot of teachers do this. But what's prevalent amongst the Caucasian teacher, who's a female, and it doesn't matter if she's young or old too, it's always between 35 and fucking 50 some years old. You know? They always teach from a feminine, racist perspective. And they don't know how to teach either. Prime example, the teachers I have now. Anytime they explain something to me, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And I'm about to put this bitch on blast, but my interpersonal communication teacher, I'm not going to disclose her name, but in my opinion, she talks too much about her husband. And she's like almost 40. But let me ask you this. If you were a student in her class, would you really give a shit about her marriage? Like, I really want you to answer this question. Would you really care about if your teacher talked too much about who she married and when she first got married at 21 and then divorced at 22? Like, there's way too much personal information that she shares. Way too much. That I don't need to know. Because first of all, I'm not fucking married, and second of all, I would just recommend what she should do is give examples, not her personal life. Because when you bring your at home issues into school, if you're a teacher, you're giving the student nothing to take in, to actually understand. So the result of that, you don't know how to teach. And there's a lot of people, like professors and teachers in college, that don't know how to teach. And the majority of them are white women. You know, middle aged, midlife crisis. I have two kids, white women. You know, sure, the white man may be worse, but I feel like I understand better when it's somebody from another race, you know. And just in general, women make the worst teachers because everything is too feminine. Nothing is based off of logic. Everything is based off of whether or not I like you, and that's going to determine whether you're going to pass or fail. And a lot of black kids don't do well in school based off of who's teaching us. You know, we would do a lot better if we had black teachers, black male teachers. We would do a lot better if we had, uh, you know, teachers that actually listen to the students and they actually ask questions about the lesson. Every day I go into class, I fall asleep almost because my teacher isn't engaging with the class. My teacher isn't actually taking the time out of her day and being like, you know, today's lesson consists of this, that, and the third. The exam or the test is coming up soon. Here are some things you should study. They never do any of that. They just give us a review packet and we have to fill it out. And we don't know whether or not all those questions are on the test or exam or quiz, even. And so, going back to my original point, the reason why the black man, you know, has not been treated with much respect is because people think we're illiterate. And people think that what they see in the movies is real, man. There's a reason why Boys in the Hood was so popular because uh, it focused a lot on gang life and shit. But you probably have white people watch that movie and think, man, all black people are like this. And that's not the case, you know. But this has been my observation I've made for the past month and a half. You know, white women make the worst teachers, and the black man, it doesn't matter what I do, is always seen as the the one that doesn't understand anything. But I've come to terms, I don't really need to prove my, intelligence to anybody. Just by watching my videos alone, you could probably already tell I'm not like most niggas. You know, I actually take time to be observant about what I'm talking about with actual facts, not opinions. But unless it's my personal outlook on things. But I don't have to prove my shit to anybody, man. And for the kids in the back, you don't got to do that shit either. You know, going to school is just something that you just cheat, and they don't really care how smart you are. They just care on whether or not you can do the homework, whether or not, you can keep up with work. And one thing about me, the school system has failed me. I've had to actually come up with other ways to read. you know I had to change the way I write. I had to change the way I just learn in general, because the curriculum, it made me stupid. And the school system thinks I'm dumb, you know. And like I said, I don't gotta prove shit to anybody, man. And I'm tired of always being the one to tell people that you have to work harder, you have to push yourself, and you have to, live up to the standard of what it takes to be the best in your class. I used to be like that, but now I don't care, man. I would just tell kids, don't go to school unless you know what you really want to be. Right now, I'm still determining whether or not I want to be working in the medical field, or if I want to just travel abroad and just work in a third world country, you know, because the school system has failed me, you know, and it's actually made me stupid because I've had to resort to other ways of learning, even though when I was in school, I had to learn the way they taught me. But, you know, I'd say it was like a couple years ago where something clicked in my brain, to where I told myself, since I'm now in my 20s, there's a lot of things that it doesn't really like trick me anymore. And I've kind of outsmarted, you know, my teachers in a sense, and just overall the curriculum, because they want to make me feel like, because I don't know anything, that I'm shit, you know. And the older I got, the more conscious and aware that they don't want me to succeed, man. All they want to do is make me take a bunch of tests, you know, re up on those tests and try to get a better score, you know. This isn't learning. This is just, you know, distracting you from what you're really supposed to know. And you're really supposed to know about who you are, and you know, you have to find what what makes your brain remember, what makes your brain calculate different areas and subjects in school. So all that making me feel bad that I'm not smart in their eyes, that shit don't fucking work anymore, man. It don't work because it's the teachers that they don't fucking know shit. When I go to school and I walk across the classroom and I go in the hallway and I see a bunch of middle-aged, mostly white people. I see a bunch of middle-aged white people in their 30s and 40s who are teachers, mind you, all dressed up in fucking, you know, fancy clothes and shit, just to make them feel like they're hot and shit, just to make them feel special and important. When I look at them in the face, I see overgrown children that don't fucking know shit. Just because you got a degree with your name on it, you acting like you better than everybody else because you went to school for 4 years. Congratulations. You're in debt that you probably still fucking paying off right now. You know, you want to look, they do this to me too, mind you. They want to make me feel bad that, I'm still, in college learning about classes and shit. You know, they want to try to make me feel bad as if I don't know shit. And then they have the audacity to want to strike up a conversation with me. I don't gotta say shit and I don't gotta fucking act like I give a shit about professors and teachers in the hallway at all, you know, because I'm not there for y'all, I'm there for myself. And you guys have probably seen it too, where you're walking in the hallway, you know, whether it's your university or community college, and you see, these teachers and adults, mind you, who are older than me, in their mid to late 30s, 40s, even older than that, just act like fucking children with money, you know. But mind you, they still complain that they don't get paid enough. But they be riding those fucking expensive ass SUVs, living in those big ass fucking mansions. You know, they got health care, they got benefits, but they have the audacity to say they don't get paid enough. You know, but to me, how much is enough to y'all? You know, how much is enough for a teacher that makes 90,000 a year? Because the way I see it, you just as worse as some of these students, because you still you're still learning your damn self. Because I've heard this saying, the master learns from the student, you know. Because what's good if the teacher doesn't know anything to teach the student? You know, don't be fooled at all. You know, do not be deceived. Just because somebody who's older than me, that is a teacher, who has nice clothes, drives a nice car, lives in a mansion, you know, is making a lot of money off of people and failing people and getting a nice office. Do not think that they're important. They're not. You know, they ain't shit at all. And the thing that I also heard in school is they get a raise depending on how many people they pass. So if everybody's failing their class, then they're not getting that bonus that they wanted. They're not getting, you know, people to even sign up for their class. Because the more people in your class, the more, you know, you're seen as a good teacher. And if you're seen as a good teacher, or if you're seen as a popular teacher, I should say, I think you get more money depending on how many people in your class. But that's besides the point. We were just never meant to really learn their their history. We were never meant to understand how they teach in the curriculum, especially for black people. Everything that they taught to us in school, it's actually not making us smarter. It's making us dumber. Because everything that's being taught in school, if somebody's trying to teach you something that doesn't involve, your district or whatever, you're gonna feel as if that's not good enough and somebody else cannot teach you anything. And this in itself is a a colonization trick, you know, in slavery that the slave master implemented in the mind of the slave to where if other people or people of our own are teaching us, we can't learn it, which is false. We can learn it. It's just the white man does not want us to branch outside of our community, you know, to where other people are teaching us stuff and we are understanding it. This is why, I truly think black people should just only teach black people. We shouldn't teach people outside our race about shit. And we shouldn't be giving information to other races, you know. That's how we're in today's society now, where to lure our race, an Asian, an Arab, a Caucasian, uh, a Mexican, they'll do anything and everything to gain any information about us and trap our ass. You know, exclusively for black people, I feel like we shouldn't give away our own specific ways of doing things in everyday life, you know. Even though niggas do it anyways, I just think we shouldn't be doing that shit, man. You know, cause let's flip the other side of the coin. Asian people do not give information about their community that they don't want to be that they don't want to say or be given out to. White people, we already know they invented that shit to not give out information, and Mexicans do it, you know, and so truthfully, I think we should just teach our own people, you know, and the school system, the curriculum, the teachers, and we could even go as far as like the environment. School itself, there are no windows. There's sure as hell no windows in my classroom. There's just lights. Uh, the floor, you have to analyze the table, the chair that you sit in to make you actually comfortable when the teacher's teaching. All of these elements I've overanalyzed, and I could give my final conclusion is making us distracted and putting us in an environment where we can't learn even if we're trying to. So, yeah, man, a giant middle finger to the school system, a giant middle finger to all the white women who have taught me nothing but garbage. Middle finger to just the Caucasian race, man, because it's like I know black people are smart, man. Like, you know, we don't have to prove ourselves. Proving ourselves to the white man is just making us. It's just gonna deteriorate ourselves, you know. And it doesn't help either that when we explain ourselves, they don't give a shit. So it's like, what's the point, you know? But it's been a long video. This is something that I've wanted to make for a while now, and it feels good to talk about it because I think I'm at a point now where I'm too old to feel like I'm not smart enough. You know, at my college, they really try to make me feel bad that I don't understand. Like today, I asked a lot of questions in my math, you know, tutoring session, and this one girl, she had to call this older lady to try to explain to me how this concept worked in math. And that shit, it still didn't help. So, like I said, man, when a white woman teaches you something, it doesn't fucking make sense. But you could feel however you want to feel. Um, you know, I don't blame you if you know, are feeling some type of way about this video. Uh, yeah.